Happy Sunday. Welcome to another lesson. We're on lesson 7 now, and we're starting level 3, and coincidentally that's also pattern 3. And we're going to spend a lot of time in this level, at least 4 weeks, maybe 5, because when we get to this is like the meat and potatoes of the whole thing. So you should really let's get you over the hump when it comes to getting a grasp on this. So there's going to be a lot more to it. All of these patterns don't make any sense unless you can move between them. So learning one pattern, learning 2, learning 3, that's all well and good, but we need to be able to move between them. And just like I said from the very first lesson, we start with a note, which makes a chord, and off of those chords, then we know right where our patterns are at. And so we're still using that philosophy of one note, one chord, one pattern, but we're really going to start moving them together, using them together. We're going to start doing some exercises in this level 3. Up to now, we've been staying in mostly the same chord when we do the patterns, but we're going to start switching, and have you soloing over chord changes, because that's what happens in a song. So a lot to do here in level 3. If you've been hanging out with me up until this point, that's great, and you've made some good progress. Keep practicing. 10 minutes a day will yield good benefits. And I think we're ready to get started. And for the folks that support the channel with donations, thank you so much. You guys are the ones that keep these lessons on a donation basis. And I got more lessons coming up. I've just been really kind of getting into rockabilly stuff. And so after this solo course, I might do a rockabilly course to be able to play rockabilly on the ukulele. So that would be cool. But these donations, they really do go a long way to keeping these all, free for the masses. So thank you, Baritone players. Okay, so we have some PDFs along with this. And if you want to donate, there's a Buy Me a Coffee link. And it's actually on one of the pages. It's on page 2. You could scan it, or it'll be in the description. Okay, so that's the commercial. Like when the TV shows go to commercial and you're like, these commercials really stink. I wish it was over with. Well, that was the one and only commercial for the lesson. Okay, moving on to the G pattern and lesson 7. Download these PDFs. The links are in the comments, or in the description rather. So they're there for the taking, and you can follow along and you can use them for reference. Let's just take a look on page 1. If you look, it shows how these patterns interact with one another. And pattern 1 is in red, pattern 2 is in blue, and pattern 3 is in green. And you'll see that actually, pattern 2 shares the low side of the pattern with pattern 1, and it shares the high side of the pattern with pattern 3. So when you learn a pattern and then you go to learn another one, you're only learning the high side, the next connecting piece. So this shows you how they all interconnect together. So take a look at that, and you kind of see, that you already know half the pattern. When it comes to pattern 3, you already know half of it, and you already know where your root note is at, because you know where that root note is on pattern 2. So, man, you're ahead of the game. But on this one, we're going to use that same, this is the pattern 3 tends to be the one that most people like. And the reason I think it is it's based upon this A chord formation, and the pattern is on the high side of that formation. So if I'm playing it, in C, it's just natural sometimes to just hit that C like that. So your hand is down here on this side of the neck. So it just lends itself you know, to being right there. Whereas pattern 2, you have to go on the low side, this side of the pattern, of the chord, to get to that pattern. So people seem to really like this pattern 3. But, you know, don't get hung up on this, because this is just one little piece of the whole pentatonic puzzle. Okay, but the good thing is it's based off of the same note, the same chord that, if you just look on page 1, it's based off of the same chord. Let's go down to the key of C. So you can see the pattern. It's using those same top 3 strings that we used to form the chord in pattern 2. So you already know where your roots are at on that G string from pattern 2. But what we're going to play that makes it different is we're going to play another root on the E string for pattern 3. So this is what the chord looks like. If you're just taking a look at that on page 1, the key of C. Okay, so barring the top 3 on 5, with your root note, your C note on that G string 5th fret, and then you have another C note there on the 8th fret of the E string. So you have 2 roots on this one, which makes it different than the other ones that we've been playing up to now. Okay, so now it's time to learn the notes, because the notes of the bottom string, the E string, will help us to name the chord, and also we'll know where the root is if we want to play the pattern. So as you can see, open, bottom string open is E. The rule is between E and F, you don't skip a fret. So 1st fret is F. You skip a fret, 3rd fret is G. You skip a fret to the 5th fret and you go back to A. You skip a fret to the 7th to B. B and C are right next to each other. So there you go on 8. Skip a fret to 10 is D. And then skip a fret to 12 is E. So again, open string, 12th fret is E. So there you have your roots for this pattern number 3. E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E. All right, so the way we make the chord is how we just said. If we're going to do the A, bar all 3, and then 5th fret on the E string. 2 roots again. Now I know I'm being repetitious here, but these are important things to remember, because these roots of these chords really do give you a place to look and find where you're going to go when you're soloing. So I'm repeating, but it's necessary. So on the A chord, 2nd fret G string is an A note, and 5th fret E string is an A note. So those are your 2 root notes for pattern 3. Now there is another interesting thing that could help you to learn this new pattern more quickly. If you have pattern 2 down, you're going to absolutely love this, because pattern 2 on the D string and the G string, you skip 2 frets in between the notes of the pattern, and then on the bottom 2, the B and the E, you only skip 1 fret. Well, pattern 3 is the exact opposite. If you look at it, on the D and the G string, you only skip 1 fret, but then on the E, the B and the E string, you skip 2. So if you look at it, you can see they're like the same, they've just been switched. So it should make this new pattern 3, a lot easier to learn. Okay, so now we move to, and you got page 2 there to show you the pattern and all the keys. So you have these at your disposal to look at when we do our exercises. And I'm going to go through the exercise. We'll play each key twice, each pattern of each key twice, and then I'm going to speed it up a little bit, and we're going to just try to go a little faster. Okay, and then if you look, we're moving on to page 3. here is the tab again, and if you know how to read tab, the top line is your E. So the top one is the high string, the bottom line is the D string, and then the number is showing you the fret that you play. So in the key of G, we're going to start on that root note on the E string. So that's 3. So if you just look at the key of G, it's 3 open, 3 open, 2 open, 2 open, and then we're going to hit the root on the G string, which would be G, and then we're going to ring out the chord. So the way that it sounds, I'm going to start our drummer up, our house drummer. He's going to play for us on this one. It's going to sound like. Okay, that's it. And then we'll do each one twice, then we'll move up to A, and then we'll go through the whole thing. But use that tab to kind of see what you're doing. You'll want to make sure that by the time you're ready to move on, you're going to be able to play that without looking at the tab. If you're still looking, these sheets are crazy because I make them up, but the goal is to get it so you can throw them in the garbage and you don't need them anymore. So that's kind of goofy, but that's the way it is. Okay, so let's get ready. I just want to make sure I got these kind of handy in case I want to grab them again. Okay, here's our drummer, and we're going to start again, like I say, on G. Let's turn it up a little bit. Okay, and then we're just going to go right down there. We're going to do it twice. 1, 2, 3, 4. Just like that. Okay, that's how it's going to go. We'll do G all over again, and then I'll give you a minute to find A and then a minute to find B, just so you stay in the flow. Okay, so I'll tell you the fret number of the E string that you're starting on, and that's our root. That should get your hand in the right place, and you should be good to go. Starting on G, 3rd fret, 1, 2, 3, 4. Go to A, so now you should be starting on the 5th fret, E string, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, now we're going to go to B, 7th fret, 1, 2, 3, 4. Time, and 1, 2, 3, 4. Moving on to C, which is our 8th fret, E string, that's our C note. 1, 2, 3, 4. Again. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, now we're moving up to D, 10th fret, E string, that's our D note. 1, 2, 3, 4. Whoops. And again. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now we're going to E, which is 12th fret, E string. 1, 2, 3, 4. 13th fret. That's F note. Hello. 1, 2, 3, 4. And again. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and there we have it. That's a nice exercise to get you used to playing. Now remember, the last note that we're hitting in that exercise, that's also a root. So A on the 5th fret, E string, A on the 2nd fret, G string. So when you're soloing, just to talk about that, those root notes are very important for when you're soloing. Those are sure places to land, that if the band's in the key of A, that's a sure place to land that you can pause, because soloing isn't just about not stopping. When we're in conversation with somebody, we stop, we pause. Sometimes we're louder, softer. So that's all what we're doing, whereas we're talking with this thing. So pauses are great. And maybe saying one word. When you're in a conversation with somebody and somebody makes a statement, you're like, yes or no. You know how it goes. So soloing is just like that, I was just playing there in pattern 3 in the key of A. So, but the point is those root notes, those are great places if you're unsure, where to land, what one to pause on. Those root notes are beautiful. All right, I'm gonna speed it up a little bit more. We're getting to the end of this one. Let's speed it up. That was 75 beats per minute. Let's move this thing up to 90 beats per minute. And do it a little faster. Now this time we're not going to pause in between. It's going to be 1, 2. Let me just start it, and we'll get you acclimated to the thing, the new speed. A little faster. And we're going to do it twice. So it's going to be. Let's do it like. I was kind of swinging the notes before I was. But let's not swing it. Play it more. Just like that. We're going to do it twice on all of them. So 2 on G. So I'm not going to stop in between. And then let's go down to F. Back up. So from F, we're going to go to E, and this is going to be challenging because when you try to find your E, you can find it on the bottom string, or you can find it on by making the chord. So this is a good exercise when you start going back the other way to find your roots, and you can do it by, like, if I was to say C, you can find it by making the chord like A. Oh, there's A. So then you know where you're at. Or you can just use that bottom string. So we're only going to go, this is super challenge at the end of this. We're only going to go one time. So F, right to E, to D. And see if you can get it by locating. That's what the importance of these root notes are. But 2 times going down, 1 time going up. All right, here we go. Starting on G. 3rd fret, 1, 2, 3, good luck. 1, 2, 3, 4. One more time. 10th fret D. My bad, I told you 9th. 12th fret E. Again. 13th fret F. One more time. Good. Okay, the reason I didn't stop is on that mistake when I told you 9th instead of 10th, is when you're playing music and you're playing with people and mistakes happen, your mind gets garbled and things get sideways, the music doesn't stop. It's like a river and that thing just keeps going. So if you made a mistake there, it was because I told you the wrong fret. So that was my bad, so sorry about that. But the point is the music doesn't stop. Our drummer's still going. He's locked in. He's like the Terminator. Okay, so now we're going to start at F. And we're going to go backwards, and we're only going to do one. So it's 13, 12, 10, 8, 7, 5, 3. Okay, look at your sheet. If you need to pause it just to get it in your head. I'm just going to tell you the fret number. Okay, so here we go with F. Don't mess up. You're making me nervous. Here we go. It's 13th fret. I was already playing E instead of F. Oh, help us, Lord, help us. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 12th fret, E. 10th fret, D. 8th fret, C. 7th B, 5th A, and third G. All right, so that'll get us through that exercise. That one was pretty crazy. That was moving. But the thing is we're trying to, you know, as you're soloing, you're trying to think and be able to have your fingers doing something while you're thinking about what's coming up. So that was a good exercise on that. Okay, so that'll do it for this exercise. Welcome to level 3. And we're going to go. And by the time, like I say, by the time we get through this level, this is going to take at least 4 weeks, maybe 5, maybe 6. Let's just see how this goes. We're not in a hurry here. The goal is to learn how to play solos on this. It's not to try to get through this course and say I made it through this course. That would be a waste of our time. So we're going to take as long as we need. So lesson 7 in the books. Have a good Sunday. If you have any questions, be sure to ask, because I'm more than happy to I'm more than happy to help get you over, answer a question. So that'll do it. Have a good Sunday. See you next week, lesson 8. Till then, keep on playing.